Alright guys and gals, welcome back to Gemini Scale Model Builds. I had mentioned a while back in one of my videos that I was going to build each aircraft that was on my carrier when I was on board the USS Saratoga way back in 68 and 69. And with that being said, we're going to start with this one here. It's a Grumman EA6B Prowler. It's a Minicraft / Saratoga kit. It is 1/72. And I do like the picture on the box, and it says down here that photo is of assembled and painted model enlarged to show detail. So that's going to look like a pretty nice aircraft when I get done with it. Let's look around the box and see what's going on. So on this side here, they're showing all these pods on here, and I don't know, this plane or this aircraft does not have any armament, and I'll read on a little bit what it actually does. This is manufactured in the USA under a license from Saratoga, Minicraft Models Incorporated. So let's see on this side here. Kit number is 1137. This is the interesting part right here. 81 precision components. Woo! Alright. Model dimensions. The length is 9.5 inches. The wingspan is 9 inches. Super detailed cockpit interior with tinted canopies. Wow, that's pretty cool. Optional position landing gear and wheel well doors. Now this one I don't understand. Optional position engine nacelle mounted. Boarding ladders, 5 underwing ECM pods, and 3 drop tanks. Over here it says, the Grumman EA6B Prowler, although roughly representing the A6, which is this guy, that was the intruder I just showed you, is totally redesigned 4-seat aircraft in which the entire payload consists of mostly advanced comprehensive ECM equipment. And it goes on to say it was fitted the most tactical aircraft flown in both the Navy and the Marines. The Prowler is a primary carrier-based aircraft. So, I know I stutter a lot when I read. That's just something that's been with me forever. So, let's take a look inside the box and see what's there, and we'll continue on from there. So, here we go. Alright, now, I did mention that some of the aircraft I'm going to be doing is going to have some interior detail as far as photo etch. This one is not. So, let me get this light in a better place here. Sorry about that. Here are the instructions. And again, gives you the dimensions. Power plant, 2 Pratt & Whitney J52 P4 turboprops with 11,200 pounds per thrust each. Performance, maximum speed 599 miles an hour. Service ceiling is 39,000 feet. Armament, no armament carried. The EA6B accompanies several armed attack bombers on a mission to use its gear to confuse the enemy radar. So it's a radar jammer. So let's see what we got here. Alright, well, of course we're going to start off with the cockpit. 4 seats in this plane. That's cool. You can do the landing gear either up or stowed. I didn't understand what they said about the nacelle. I don't know what that is. It said engine nacelle. Alright, so finally at the end they give you the sprue. And their designations, letters A, B, and C, and D and E, and then painting and putting the decals on. And let's see, F-18 Hornet. Alright, so let's take a look. These look like all the tanks and radar gear that it's going to have on the bottom, on the fuselage. And this looks like it might be the lower, where the lower front landing gear goes. It didn't say, I didn't look at the instructions very well, but I know that I'm going to have to put weight in this plane. And here's our two halves of fuselage. And a little bit of cleanup. Alright, let's check it out. The tinted glass, canopy glass. You guys can see that it's tinted like a brown color. And then we got, here's the cockpit seats and stuff. Here are the seats right here. Here's the dashboard or instrument cluster. More instrument cluster here. Because this is going to get a front and back seats and stuff, so. Alright. Now, the only unfortunate thing I don't like, and I'm going to look around to see if I can get, but the decals that come with the kit, they look in pretty good shape, but it does not have USS Saratoga on here. So I'm going to see if I can get decals to that. But anyhow, here is the instrument panel. Front and rear, I guess. And here are all my wings and stuff. So, I guess put this all back in here. And let me see what we're going to do is get this thing started. I don't know if I'll actually start it in this video, or yeah, we probably will. Anyhow, alright, we'll be back in a few. Alright guys, we're going to continue on with this Prowler build, and I'm going to do things just a little bit different than they show here in the instructions. What do I mean by that? Well, as I always mention to you guys, I don't like gluing on top of paint, so I'm going to put a lot of this stuff together in its perspective spots and then paint it. For instance, I'm going to take the entire cockpit and I'm going to mount it in the fuselage. And then I'm going to take this front dashboard and I am going to mount it in the fuselage. And I'm going to take this, I don't know what piece that is, but before this goes into there, this is going to get mounted onto here. And the only thing that won't be mounted would be the seats. But I'm going to take this antenna and put him in that cup. And I'm going to take the joystick and put him in the cup. So, I'm going to start putting this guy together, and then we'll go ahead and paint the colors I think we're going to paint this. I'm not 100% sure. It's saying to paint all of this gray, paint in here gray. I'm not sure if I do that. I got that chromatic green, whatever it's called. I might do the interior with that instead. The seats definitely will get two different colors, and then we'll go from there. It's saying to also install the decals. There'll be one on the back side of this, and there'll be one on that guy right there. So, with all that being said, oh yeah, and this piece down here will be going into play also. So, with all that being said, let me get going. I'm going to prime everything up, and we'll get going. So stay tuned, and we will be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, welcome back. I'm going to show you the progress I've made while I've been off camera. I got a little carried away actually. So this is what we got. So far this kit has been 50-50 of easy and pain in the butt. The wings fit up against the fuselage perfectly with no problem. The problem I did have, however, was the body itself was warped and it wouldn't stay in position, so I had to do it in sections. And trying to clean up the seam line. That was a pain in the butt. I still have a little bit more to do up here in the front. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to show you what I've done on the landing gear so far. So here's my landing gear. You can see in the picture here that's 3 pieces. It's the main strut plus the support, plus 2 supports. The only way I can get this arm to be correct is to actually mount it, and there is a hole in the fuselage that this bottom piece has to hook into. So this piece down here, I use my temporary glue, which I call my temporary glue, and it's this Fowler, kind of worn out, but it is Fowler Expert, and it gives me lots of time to work with it. So up here in the top, I use the quick setting Tamiya, and as soon as that sets up, I could pull this out because they need to get painted. So why I did the landing gear right now is because I need to add weight to this guy. So let me show you how I'm going to do this. Now I already know, because I worked on this last night, how I'm going to do, where I'm going to put the weight. And this little triangular piece right here goes on one of the struts. Let's see. It's this one. It goes down on the bottom there. But like I said, this is all temporary, just so I can do this next step. Now, you know, when you get a configuration like this, what they call a tripod or tri-leg or whatever you want to call it, it's a tail sitter. So if I put this on like this, watch what happens. So, how am I going to fix that? So, let me show you how I'm going to fix that. Alright, well, we'll just have to do it with this camera then. Like I said, I already measured it out last night. And, before I put the nose piece on there, that's where I'm going to put my weight. So, like I said, I already checked this out last night. Right here are some stick-on weights that I have, that I bought for a couple of my other aircraft builds. And, I figured out last night how much it needs. There's 6.3 grams here. And I will put this in a little bit neater. But I just want to show you how this is going to work. So I'll take the first piece. Now there's plenty of room to go under the cockpit. So we'll put the first piece in there like that. And then we'll take one of these little pieces and we'll stack him on top of that. And then I think there's enough here. We shall find out. And then we'll put him in there like that. Look at that. Just a little bit more. That's what these other little pieces are for. And there you go. Look at my other camera. Alright, let me be back here in a minute. I want to see if I can get my other camera to work. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back. And what I'm doing now is the final filling in places that need to get filled in. I worked very hard to get rid of the seam on here. And it still needs more work, but I'm not going to go too much further on this. Just going to put a little bit more and just give it a final sanding. And I think the bottom. Took a lot of time and a lot of work to get this centerpiece right here to fit in there properly. I had to sand down this end because apparently it was too long, so I had to sand down this end. And you can see I'm trying to fill in this crack right here. Oops, sorry for my arm. Let me do this. There you go. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of my, this is Tamiya putty, whatever you say, however you say it. And we're using a toothpick to apply it. And I just want to cover this crack up with just a little bit more. Oh, come on. There you go. And then we'll wait for all this to dry, and I'm going to give this a final prime job. There you go. Hey, that's nice and pretty now. Now they're saying there's a two-tone paint job on here. They're saying the lower half of this is going to be white and the upper part is going to be gray. So we'll have to see how I'm going to do that. But we're just going to assemble basically all this stuff that's here right now. The landing gear doors we'll have to put on last because it's going to be a pain to put the landing gear in there as they are assembled, like I showed you here. And I will show you how this is going to be, how I'm going to add the weight to this here. So, with that being said, let's move on to the next part of the video, and I'll show you how I added weight to this. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're going to continue on, and we're going to clean up some of the spaces where these parts need to get mounted to. Then we're going to put it all where it needs to go, and then we'll get it its final prime. These landing gear will get painted in white. The nose piece that's on here will get painted in white, and then, like I said, this is going to get two tones, gray and white. Well, we'll see what color gray, because I got a ton of different grays to use. Alright, so that being said, let's see how we're going to do this. Let me get the instructions to the right page. Get out of the way for now. Alright, so we kind of did all of the stuff that's here. The nose I'm not going to put on just yet. So let's see where these side vents are. Excuse me while I find the page that we need to be on. And the front landing gear, we already know that. The wings are put together. Sorry guys, the instructions got all discombobulated. Oh, by the way, the echo you guys were hearing earlier is because, oh here we go, is because the new camera that I got hooked up, if I don't plug up the microphone port, it'll be using the microphone that's in the camera, and therefore I get an echo, so I gotta plug that up. Anyhow, this is what we're gonna do right now, is down here, and also these steps need to go in there, but I don't know if I could put them in later, because they gotta get painted red, as it says. The inside is going to be red, so we'll have to see how that's going to work out. But we need a D21, and I did mark these. That's 20, and that's 21, and this is going to go on the pilot side. So here, but before we can put these on here, I want to scratch these up a little bit where they're going to go. So I'm just going to use, I think this is an 800, yeah, 600. Just gonna kind of rest this up right here. Just enough so the glue has a surface to adhere to. Alright, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. My time in the service, my job, this antenna is just going to break off of here. I don't care how many times I fix it. We used to fuel these aircraft when they were running, you know, when the engines were running. And if you put your hand like right on the intake, you could actually feel it sucking your hand in there. And I did that quite a bit, because most of the time, the fueling receptacle is right down here underneath one of the engines. And so I mean, there's times I stood there and was looking straight into an eyeball of a missile. It's scary, dude. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and put these on. So, now, it says that part of this little gap right there You guys can see that little gap. It's going to be for the stairs. Now these stairs apparently are supposed to be able to be movable. So this has got to go like right there. Right up to there. Even on the bottom. I guess something just like that. Okay. Alright, so let's see. We'll use this Tamiya. I like using this. For big spaces, I like using this Tamiya. So, I don't know if it's a little bit thicker, but I like the way it sits in there very nice. Okay. And we'll go ahead and put him in place. Now this little notch has to line up with the hole that's in there so the stairs can swing, and I don't think I'm going to be able to put the stairs in afterwards, so I'm going to have to get those out and put those in place and just hand paint the red. That looks pretty good. I'm sighting it down to make sure that the hole here lines up with the notch there. Alright, let me find the stairs, and we'll put them in place also. So stay tuned, be right back. Okay, guys and gals, welcome back. Well, again, while I was off camera, I completed some of the stuff on this aircraft with a lot of work. I finally got that scene to look fairly decent. It's not the best in the world, but it looks pretty good to me, and I'm going to be happy with that. Also, while I was off camera, I gave it its first coat of the glossy white paint, as they call for in the instructions. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to get a... it doesn't want to show its shine. There it is. Anyhow, I did notice that since I am going to put the stairs in after the fact, that I can go ahead and put all of this together that I was doing in the previous clip. I did lose excuse me, I did lose one of these, I don't know if they're out vents or sensors of some sort. But this aircraft is actually ready for a top coat. Now, I don't know, it says to use a gray, and I will be looking for a gray because I have a bunch of Vallejo grays. I don't know which one I'm going to use just yet, but I think at this point we're going to call this video good, and we'll finish it up in the next video. So I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video so far. And let me just, before I say that, show you the bottom of this. And remember, I was working on this section right here. It turned out pretty good. So like I said, I'm happy with the body work that I did on this. Anyhow, as always, your questions, comments, inputs, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. Gemini Scale Models out for now.